any and all Saquon Barkley fantasy managers. But you get it done how you get it done. Hurts 16 of 20 for 236, 37 on the ground, and the tush push still alive and well. Joe Musso pleased to say hello alongside the two-time Super Bowl champion Bryant McFadden. B-Mac, this was the Eagles that we expected, maybe the Eagles of last year prior to coming apart. This is the most points they've scored in a game since Week 12 of last season.
Yeah.
Did this start to feel like a team that's figuring it out, feeling themselves in some ways?
Oh, no question, especially on the offensive side. Jalen Hurts, 16 of 20 today, throwing the football, 236 yards. He did throw. Look at the personnel, because they're not lacking talent on either side of the football field. It was about seeing that talent put on display and doing so in a very, very consistent way. If they can continue to play with this mindset, with the consistencies on the offensive side, along with the defensive efforts as well, we know what type of damage they can do in the regular season. We just got to see it more frequently, and today they put forth. This was their best game, in my opinion, when you look at the Eagles.
The Eagles looking up in more ways than one because, folks, the sky is not falling. 5-2 now on the year as they figure it out on the fly. You know, it's always good to learn within wins rather than losses. Well, there was plenty of conversation around a decision made that did lead to a loss earlier this season. But outside of that, it's a team finding their stride. And when you only got to stride 1 yard, look to number one. All right, let's get you back out to the site where the incomparable Charles Davis joins us for our post-game recap. Charles, this were the birds that we have come to expect to see under Nick Sirianni. Dominant in most phases of the game, getting back to their line of scrimmage, winning football around the goal line. What stood out to you in the way that they refound who they were in this game?
Joe, all the things you're saying are so on target, but I want to go back to how this game started. Cincinnati came into it saying we have to play our most complete game. We have to start fast and keep it pressed through the entire game. This is week 8. We should be playing the most complete game we've played all year. These were the that came at them. That was huge to me. Their equilibrium, because Cincinnati controlled much of the first half, and I remember going to break and going, it feels like Cincinnati should be up 2 or 3 touchdowns. It's 10-3 Cincinnati. And then Philadelphia scored right before the half, made it 10-10, and got the ball to start the second half. I think probably the last 6-7 minutes of the second quarter, from that point on, it was Philadelphia's ball game. But that ability to hang in there, not be cowed by what happened to them early, I thought that was key to this ball game, because then the rest of it came out. Everything else you talked about, Joe, we saw it on display from that point on.
Yeah,
all right, let's talk about this. They're already kind of getting lost in what actually happened in this game. So I'm going to do a much deeper dive through, the herd and first things first and all of that. But I just wanted to give my quick Sunday night thoughts on this game because I think the Bengals are actually a really good team, right? I actually really do. Joe Burrow is elite. Anyone who wants to question how great Joe Burrow is, you're arguing with the wrong person if you're gonna argue that with me, because he is elite, and that's what makes this win actually so great. Because for me, before going into this game, I was like, the Eagles don't need to win this game for me to believe that they're a good team or even a great team, right? They just need to be able to compete and play this game competitively with the Bengals, because the Bengals almost beat the Ravens. They almost beat the Chiefs, right? I mean, like 2 top teams in the NFL. Like, the Bengals are not scrubs. So it can't just be whether you win or if you lose, that means you're not good. And if you win, that means you're great. That's not how I operate. But so the fact that the Eagles won in this way, that makes it way more significant to me. I mean, everything they did. I mean, put it this way. They scored more points than the Chiefs and the Ravens in regulation, because I think the Ravens ended up getting a little bit more points, but it went into overtime, so we're not really counting that. And they held to the least points since week 1. So that's why when they said everything was going well, at least offensively. No, this was a complete game. This was offense and defense for the Philadelphia Eagles. Make no mistake about it. I mean, it was a perfect, complete game. And I understand, that's why I rolled my eyes when he was like, oh, the Bengals controlled much of the first half. Yes and no. The momentum was equal. The Eagles did a great job at maintaining that momentum and pretty much keeping it equal. I understand the Bengals had a really long drive and, took like 10 minutes off the clock and all that. I get all that, but the Eagles didn't then just kind of cough it back up and then let the Bengals score again, right? Like, that's not how this game unfolded. So the momentum really stuck with it. If anything, there was just pressure on the Philadelphia offense to kind of keep, to also score points, because it did look like for a second, okay, the Bengals are going to be able to have their way offensively, which again, you would have just had to have shaken their hand. I mean, it's Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. I mean, that's just a deadly combination. There's no way around it. But to have Jalen Hurts and that Philadelphia Eagles offense, as well as the defense, step up so tremendously, right? Hurts going 16 for 20, 236 yards, 11.8 yards per attempt. I mean, some key third down throws, some key third down pickups with his legs. He's had 3 straight games now with a rating of at least 119 or more, 9 total touchdowns in that time period, and 0 turnovers. He's had 4 straight games with no turnovers now. I mean, he's just firing at all cylinders. He has 14 games with at least 2 touchdowns rushing, which is the most of all time in the history of the NFL. And don't tell me that it's just these 1-yard touchdowns, because if it's so easy, then go have every other quarterback go do it, right? If it's so easy, if it's like, oh, it's a 1-yard touchdown, because that's what fans always want to say of opposing teams. So then go do it. Go have your quarterback and your team do it. If it's that easy, every single team would do it. If they could do it with any quarterback, go do it. And to have him do this with 2 starting linemen not even there, I mean, that's just big. The defense was great. It was tough, physical, stopped the run, held Chase to only 54 yards. I mean, that's pretty remarkable. Let's be serious here. I mean, the O-line, even though that it was injured, played great, right? It just shows you how well coached and prepared they are. Saquon obviously played great. 22 carries, 108 yards. As a team overall, 39 carries, 161 yards. Really great. Cooper DeJean, just, I mean, he's exactly what you wanted in that pickup, right? Huge 4th down stop on Jamar Chase, and also the 3rd down stop before that. I mean, just such big plays. I mean, all around this game was just great. I mean, it really, really was. Jalen Hurts, 4 total touchdowns, 1 touchdown, 3 rushing touchdowns, 132.5 rating, 6 for 11 on 3rd down. I mean, it's just, I can just go down the list, honestly. It's just like, because I look at my notes and it's just like, they're kind of all over the place, because it's just like, Saquon great, O-line great, Hurts great, Cooper great, right? Vic Fangio great, Kellen Moore great. I mean, it was great play calling, great game plan. I mean, everything about it was just great. It was just the fact that they were able to keep that momentum. I mean, and that they were able to keep the momentum equal and then rip it from the Bengals to the point where they started chanting Eagles chants on the road against Cincinnati, against a desperate Cincinnati. I mean, what's more demoralizing than that, right? I mean, that's just great to see if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan. The fact that they were able to come away with a win like this when they needed it right now, because they were able to beat some of these lower level teams. And if they lost this game, even if it was a close game, I would have justified it. I would have been able to find the positives in it, as long as they actually were worthy of it and played good. But the fact that they were able to get away with this win now, it really keeps that momentum. Because if they lost this game, there would have been the feeling of, yeah, they beat the Giants. Yeah, they beat the Browns. Is that really that exciting? Congratulations. And you beat the Saints, and now the Saints have fallen apart, right? You would be like, well, who did they really beat? Now, there are some people out there that think that the Bengals aren't good. I'm not one of those people. Before this game even started, I said the Bengals are a really good team. Like, they are not this bad team. They are not what their record shows. And what's really special here is that they saw their defense as an issue. Because Joe Burrow has been balling out this season, right? Minus that first game. He's been balling out and been playing great. Like, he put his team in a position to win against the Chiefs, against the Ravens, right? Like, he's been doing really well. He's been a top quarterback in the NFL this whole season. And the big issue has been their defense. So the fact now that they shut them down both offensively and defensively, that's what is really stood out to me. Because if this game was like a 45-42, it was just whoever got the ball at the end, I would have been like, okay, this is a great offensive showcase, but what are you going to do? It kind of similar to what happened with the Ravens versus the Bengals. It was kind of like, hey, these two teams have a lot of firepower, but my God, their defense is a liability. So to see this be a complete game, that's why I took issues when they said, oh, well, everything looked good, at least offensively. You held Joe Burrow and the Bengals to 17 points. You hold any team to 17 points. I don't care who they are. No matter who's your quarterback, whether it's a rookie quarterback or Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, that's a great defensive outing. You don't have to explain it any more than that. It's a great defensive outing. Outside of the team being decimated by injuries, right back when Matthew Stafford had no O-line, no wide receivers, no nothing, then you could maybe be like, all right, well, that's only so impressive because they had nothing going for them. That was not the case here. That's not the case here. This was just great defense that made Joe Burrow uncomfortable, that made the rest of the team uncomfortable. Huge key stops when needed. Didn't let the momentum get away from them when Joe Burrow did have the momentum going off in the beginning of the game. So this was not only a great game, a great game plan, a resilient win, because you're on the road. This easily could have been a game that kind of got out of control for Philly if they allowed it, but the fact that they didn't shows you how connected they are. Overall, just a great win, and Philadelphia fans should be very happy about this one. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles 37-17 win over the Bengals? Let me know in the comments below. And like I said, if you're watching this video, whether you're watching on Sunday or Monday, check the other videos if you're watching especially on Monday, because I'm going to have a whole bunch of Philadelphia Eagles videos, like I said, through the herd, through First Things First, probably Get Up or NFL Live as well. I'll look around and we can get into it and definitely do a much more deeper dive into the flow of the game and how it all unfolded. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.